Range Rovers are supposed to be big, square, broad-shouldered things. So what's that badge doing on this? Let's drive the 2012 Range Rover Evoque and check the tech. The Evoque's one of those cars that made it off the concept show circuit in pretty intact form. This is the old LRX. We've shown you this in car show videos for a couple of years, I think, and it arrives looking a lot like that unattainable thing on the floor. It's an audacious move by Land Rover because it's the lightest thing that they make, the most efficient thing they've ever made, I think, and it comes not just in the four-door we have here, but also in a coupe. You better like attention to drive one of these because people on the street will not leave you alone. The whole Range Rover, Land Rover thing is a mess. Just know that at $44K base, the Evoque is the sexiest thing the company makes and the second cheapest between the LR2 and the LR4. But it's a Range Rover, and those other two are Land Rovers, though they're all made by Land Rover, whose parent is Tata and sister is Jaguar. Ah. Now, first thing you notice when you get in this guy is a lot of very nice, stylish, really British modern luxury. Super soft materials that are really nicely done. Top, bottom, nice brushed aluminum finisher. That might actually be aluminum, which you almost never see in cars under about 80 grand. Now, our Evoque has got the top package, kind of the CNET package if you want to roll that way. It's $4,000. They call it the premium package, and that's going to bring you a lot of technology, including hard drive-based GPS navigation. That is not standard on this car, somewhat controversially. You do, though, get an 8-inch LCD touchscreen, which is frustratingly inset in the dash. Why do that? If I go to put a finger on some of those buttons, it's almost too deep for me to get there without contorting and kind of intentionally digging in there. A novel and very useful home screen. They've given you media, navigation, and phone status, almost like a Microsoft Windows Metro look. You get a lot in a few amount of tiles. I like that. Here's a button called Mode that lets me toggle between my 4 basic categories of media sources. A whole bunch of button pressing. It's a whole lot better if I just go to audio video and direct select what I want. Why would I ever roll through Mode? It's just a waste of buttonage. If I go enter a destination and I start typing something in, every time I type a letter, it does a screen flash to black. Why would you do that? It's so noisy and it slows down the execution. Dumb. Now, once you get past all this stuff and your blood stops to boil and merely simmers, you've actually got a pretty good audio rig here. It's a Meridian brand system. I find the sound is actually pretty good. The base rig is 380 watts. 10 speakers plus a sub. All the modern sources are here, including optical disc, auxiliary, USB for a thumb drive or iPod as well. If you want HD radio and satellite, though, it's a separate add-on. Those two go together for $750. And that $4,000 premium package that also brought us GPS brings us hard drive. Get this, they say the capacity is 10 CDs or DVDs. That's like saying the capacity is 10 peas or 10 rutabagas. Completely different. And the premium package also brings you 5 surround cameras, as well as DVD playback, 825 watts, and 16 speakers plus a sub. Now, here's our selector for the transmission. This is not a knob to control the interface. A lot of folks might think that looking at it. Standard positions, including Sport, which changes your throttle and transmission behavior. Then down here you've got your terrain response settings with a kind of bizarre use of icon graphics. I'd like these to be in English or whatever the market language is because these don't mean a lot to me. This one says car. This one says car driving in the snow with a lot of weeds. This one is apparently stuck in the mud next to a Christmas tree farm, and over here is flat tire next to a cactus. Electric parking brake control that tells me nothing about whether my parking brake is on or off. How did that get by the feds? There's an indicator up there buried next to the word Range Rover, but why can't I look at the button and say car's going to roll away or car's not going to roll away? This is controversial. Above me here, hit the big button. Huge panoramic glass roof. I mean, that thing goes from here down to the Cape of Good Hope. The problem is you're going to need lots of hope if you want to get any ventilation out of there because it doesn't move. Now under the hood, it's like a Martin and Lewis reunion. Land Rover and Ford back together again because this is Ford's 2-liter 4-cylinder EcoBoost motor. That means direct injection and turbocharging, 2 red-hot technologies that give this guy 240 horse, 251 foot-pounds of torque. This vehicle weighs an amazingly light, for Land Rover, 3,900 pounds, but gets up to 60 in 7.1 thanks to the nice torque curve on this guy, and delivers 1828 mpg. The greenest, lightest thing this company makes. Now, one thing a bunch of us on the CNET team noticed is you can't drive this guy real smoothly. The power is real surgy. It's basically got a 2-position accelerator, on and off. I hate that. That's not to say it doesn't have plenty of power. It does. That's almost part of the problem. An engine like this, when it's peaky, having really good numbers, is really peaky. Steering's nice and tight and precise, and the whole thing feels lighter on its feet than just about anything else Land Rover makes or has made. That's because of the low weight, and they got a lot of that done by using a lot of aluminum and composites in body panels and doors around the vehicle. Now, one thing that little-engined cars can't get around is they make a little engine sound when you get into them, and that can take away from the feeling of luxury, status, or quality when you buy a car like this. You don't buy this thing just on its attributes. You can get most of this in some kind of Toyota, probably. And this car probably should feel a little richer than it does at this price and brand point. And also, thanks to the lightweight and some good suspension engineering, this vehicle handles really well. Very car-like. Luckily, it comes with a backup camera and the optional 5 cameras we saw, because it's got the visibility of a Countach out the back, which is to say, just about nothing.